Right, I need to talk to you about something that's been bothering far too many of the men I see in my clinic here in London. I'm Dr. Charlotte Evans, and over my 15 years working in men's health, I've seen thousands of blokes dealing with prostate troubles. And here's what gets me. Most of you are suffering in silence, thinking there's nothing to be done except pop pills that don't really work, or resign yourselves to spending half the night shuffling to the loo. But what if I told you there's something remarkably simple you could do every morning that might change everything? I'm talking about adding certain natural powders to your morning coffee. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds a bit balmy, doesn't it? But stick with me, because the science behind this is absolutely solid, and the results I've seen in my own practice have been nothing short of remarkable. Let me ask you something. How many times did you get up last night to use the toilet? 3 times? 4? 5? And how's that affecting your sleep, your energy, your quality of life? If you're nodding along right now, you're exactly who I'm talking to today. This isn't about some miracle cure or marketing nonsense. This is about practical evidence-based nutrition that can genuinely support your prostate health. Now, before we dive in, let me be crystal clear about something. I'm not saying bin your medication or ignore your GP's advice. What I am saying is that there are natural compounds that, when used properly alongside conventional care, can make a real difference. I've seen it work for men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to walk you through 8 specific powders. Yes, 8, that you can add to your morning brew. I'll explain exactly what each one does, how to use it, where to get it, and most importantly, I'll answer all those questions I know you're already thinking about. Like, do I need to use all 8 at once? What if I don't drink coffee? How long before I see results? I've got you covered. Let's start with understanding what's actually going on with your prostate. Most men over 50 deal with what we call benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Essentially, your prostate grows larger as you age, and when it does, it squeezes your urethra. That's the tube that carries urine out of your bladder. The result? You're running to the toilet constantly, especially at night. Your sleep gets disrupted. You feel knackered all the time, and it affects everything from your mood to your relationships. What we've learned in recent years is that chronic low-grade inflammation plays a massive role in prostate enlargement. There's also the issue of DHT, that's dihydrotestosterone, a form of testosterone that actually promotes prostate growth. The brilliant thing about the compounds I'm about to share with you is that they tackle both these problems. They reduce inflammation and help regulate hormone levels. Right then, let's get into these 8 powders. I'm going to go through each one fairly quickly because I want to leave plenty of time to show you exactly how to use them in practice. Number 1 is ginger. Now, you probably already have this in your kitchen cupboard. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols that are powerful anti-inflammatories. They work by blocking the pathways that cause inflammation in your prostate tissue. In my clinical experience, ginger is often the best starting point because it's gentle, widely available, and most people tolerate it brilliantly. You can use fresh grated ginger or ground ginger powder. Either works. I typically recommend about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon in your morning coffee. Yes, it changes the flavor a bit, but most of my patients tell me they quite like it after a few days. Number 2 is cardamom. This is a spice that's common in Indian cuisine, and there's good reason it's been used medicinally for centuries. Cardamom has these compounds that help relax smooth muscle tissue, including the muscle in your bladder and prostate. This means less urgency, better flow, fewer trips to the loo. It's also got antioxidant properties that protect your cells from damage. Just a pinch, literally 2 or 3 pods crushed, or 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, is plenty. Number 3, and this one's a game changer for many men, is matcha green tea powder. Now, matcha isn't just any green tea. It's the whole leaf ground into a fine powder, which means you're getting the full benefit of all its compounds. The key here is something called EGCG, that's epigallocatechin gallate. Research has shown that EGCG can actually help slow the growth of prostate cells and reduce inflammation. Plus, matcha contains L-theanine, which works beautifully with the caffeine in your coffee to give you steady energy without the jitters. About half a teaspoon of good quality matcha is what I recommend. Number 4 is ground flaxseed. This is where we start getting into hormone regulation. Flax seeds are rich in lignans. These are plant compounds that can help balance your hormones and may even block the conversion of testosterone to DHT. They're also packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are brilliant for reducing inflammation throughout your body. The key with flaxseed is that it must be ground. Whole flax seeds just pass through your system without being absorbed. You want about 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed. You can buy it already ground, but I prefer to grind it fresh in a coffee grinder because the oils can go rancid fairly quickly. Number 5 is black seed, also known as black cumin or Nigella sativa. This is less well known in the West, but it's been used in Middle Eastern medicine for ages. Black seed oil has shown some remarkable effects on prostate health in studies. It helps reduce inflammation, has antioxidant properties, and may help with urinary symptoms. You can use either the oil, about half a teaspoon, or the ground seeds. Fair warning, it has quite a strong, slightly bitter flavor, so you might want to start with a smaller amount and work your way up. Number 6 is pumpkin seeds. Now, several of you have asked me whether pumpkin spice coffee is the same thing. No, it's not. We're talking about actual ground pumpkin seeds here. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, which is crucial for prostate health, and they contain compounds called phytosterols that can help reduce prostate enlargement. You can either grind raw pumpkin seeds yourself or buy pumpkin seed powder. Alternatively, and this is what some of my patients prefer, you can take pumpkin seed oil, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground seeds, or 1 tablespoon of the oil. Number 7 is reishi mushroom powder. I know, sounds a bit unusual, doesn't it? But reishi mushrooms have been extensively studied for their effects on prostate health. They contain triterpenes and polysaccharides that have anti-inflammatory and immune-supporting properties. Some research suggests they may help reduce prostate size and improve urinary flow. Reishi has a slightly bitter, earthy taste. Start with about a quarter teaspoon and increase to half a teaspoon if you tolerate it well. Number 8, and this is what I call the gold standard combination, is saw palmetto paired with stinging nettle root. If you're going to invest in just one supplement, make it this one. Saw palmetto has been studied extensively for BPH. It works by blocking the enzyme that converts testosterone to DHT. Stinging nettle root works beautifully alongside it, helping to bind to proteins that would otherwise promote prostate growth. Together, they're more effective than either one alone. You want to look for a quality extract. Typically 160 milligrams of saw palmetto with about 120 milligrams of nettle root. This usually comes in capsule form, but you can get powder versions too. Now, here's where most videos would end, leaving you wondering what on earth to do with all this information. But I'm not going to do that, because the questions I get most often are, Dr. Evans, do I really need to use all 8 of these? How do I actually do this? Where do I even buy this stuff? So let me break this down into practical steps you can actually follow. There are 2 approaches, depending on where you are in your journey. If you're just starting out, or if the idea of mixing 8 different powders into your coffee sounds overwhelming, start simple. Week 1 and 2, just use ginger and ground flaxseed. That's it. Quarter teaspoon of ginger, 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, mixed into your morning coffee. Get used to the taste, see how your body responds. Most men notice they're getting up at least once less per night within 2 weeks. Weeks 3 and 4, add in the cardamom and matcha. Now you're up to 4 ingredients, quarter teaspoon each of ginger, cardamom and matcha, plus your tablespoon of flaxseed. By this point, you should be noticing better flow, less urgency, hopefully sleeping better. After a month, if you're tolerating everything well and seeing benefits, you can add in the remaining ingredients one at a time. Flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, reishi, and finally the saw palmetto nettle combination. The advanced approach is for those of you who are more experienced with supplements or who have more severe symptoms. You can mix all 8 powders together into a master blend. Get yourself a decent-sized jar with a tight lid. Combine equal parts of each powder, say 50 grams of each. Give it a good shake to mix thoroughly. Then use 1 to 2 teaspoons of this blend in your morning coffee. Store it in a cool, dark place, and it should keep for about 2 months. Now, about the coffee itself. I get asked this constantly. Does it have to be regular coffee? The answer is no. If you have high blood pressure or you're sensitive to caffeine, decaf works just fine. The compounds we're interested in don't require caffeine to be effective. Instant coffee, French press, espresso, they all work. The point is to have a warm liquid that makes these powders palatable and helps with absorption. And if you don't drink coffee at all, not a problem. You can mix these powders into warm water with a bit of honey, add them to smoothies, stir them into porridge, or sprinkle them on yogurt. Some of my patients add them to their morning tea instead. The key is consistency. You need to use them daily to see results. Where to find these ingredients? Most of them you can get at any decent health food shop. Holland and Barrett carries most of these, as does Whole Foods if you've got one nearby. For better prices and selection, I usually point people towards online retailers like Amazon or specialist supplement sites. The saw palmetto nettle combination you'll definitely want to get from a reputable supplement company. Nature's Way and Solga both do good versions. One crucial thing about quality: with herbs and supplements, you generally get what you pay for. Don't go for the cheapest option you can find. Look for organic when possible, especially with the seeds and spices. For the reishi and saw palmetto, you want to see standardized extracts with clear information about the active compounds. Cost-wise, if you're buying everything separately, you're looking at about £30 to £50 per month. That's less than most prescription medications, and certainly less than some of the over-the-counter prostate supplements that don't work nearly as well. Let me address a few other questions I know you're thinking about. How long before you see results? Most men notice some improvement in the first 2 to 4 weeks, particularly with nighttime urination. For more significant changes in prostate size or PSA levels, we're talking 3 to 6 months. This isn't a quick fix, but it's effective if you stick with it. Are there any side effects? Generally, these are very well tolerated. The most common issue is mild digestive upset when you first start, particularly with the flaxseed. If that happens, start with a smaller amount and build up gradually. Ginger can occasionally cause heartburn in sensitive individuals. If you're on blood thinners, talk to your GP before starting ginger or saw palmetto, as they can have mild blood thinning effects. Can you take these alongside your regular medications? In most cases, yes, but you absolutely must discuss this with your doctor, especially if you're on medications for blood pressure, blood thinning, or diabetes. I've had excellent results with patients who combine these natural approaches with their prescribed medications, often allowing them to reduce their medication doses over time under medical supervision. What about interactions between the ingredients themselves? The good news is that these 8 compounds work synergistically, meaning they enhance each other's effects rather than interfering with them. That's why the combination can be so powerful. Let me share a quick example from my practice. I saw a patient, let's call him Richard, who came to me utterly exhausted. He was 67, getting up 6 times a night to use the toilet, barely sleeping, irritable with his wife, struggling at his part-time job. His PSA was elevated, but not worryingly so, and his GP had suggested watching and waiting before starting medication. Richard started with the simple approach. just ginger and flaxseed for 2 weeks. By week 2, he was down to 4 times a night. After a month on the full protocol with all 8 ingredients, he was getting up twice a night, and those trips were quick. No more standing there for ages trying to start the flow. His follow-up PSA 3 months later had actually dropped slightly, and his urologist was impressed with the improvement in his symptoms. Richard told me it changed his life. His energy came back, his relationship with his wife improved, he felt like himself again, and all from some powders in his morning coffee. Now, I'm not saying everyone will have results that dramatic, but I share this because it's representative of what I see in my clinic regularly. Here's what I want you to understand. Your prostate health is largely within your control. Yes, genetics play a role, and yes, aging is inevitable. But the choices you make every single day, what you eat, what you drink, how you move your body, how you manage stress, these things matter enormously. Adding these powders to your morning routine is one piece of a larger puzzle that includes maintaining a healthy weight, staying physically active, managing stress, and getting regular checkups. None of this replaces proper medical care. If you're having severe symptoms, if you see blood in your urine, if you have significant pain, if your PSA is rising rapidly, you need to see your doctor straight away. These natural approaches work best as part of a comprehensive strategy, not as a replacement for medical care. I also want to say something to those of you who are feeling discouraged. Maybe you've tried various supplements before and been disappointed. Maybe your symptoms have been going on for years. Maybe you feel like you've lost control of your own body. I understand that frustration. I see it in my clinic every single day. But please don't give up. Your body has a remarkable ability to heal and rebalance when you give it the right support. Start where you are. If all you can manage right now is adding a bit of ginger to your coffee, brilliant, do that. If you're ready to dive into the full protocol, even better. The point is to start. Do something. Take control. You don't have to accept declining prostate health as an inevitable part of aging. Before I wrap up, let me give you one final thought. The men who do best with this approach share a common characteristic: consistency. They make it part of their daily routine, just like brushing their teeth or taking their morning shower. They don't do it for a week and then forget about it. They commit to it, they track their symptoms, they pay attention to their bodies. So here's what I'd like you to do after watching this. First, talk to your GP about trying this approach, especially if you're on any medications. Second, get yourself started with at least the ginger and flaxseed. Third, give it a proper go, at least 4 weeks before you judge whether it's working. And fourth, come back and let me know how you're getting on. I genuinely want to know. Your experiences help other men who are going through the same struggles. Your morning coffee can be just a source of caffeine, or it can be part of your daily health defense system. The choice is yours. You still have control, and you're not in this alone. There are thousands of men making these same changes and seeing real results. You can be one of them. I'm Dr. Charlotte Evans, and I'm here to help you take charge of your prostate health. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll be answering more of your questions about natural approaches to men's health. Cheers.